before the Day of Judgment. One of the indicators that the Day of Judgment is coming and or is near. The hour will not be established until trials become apparent. Lying becomes prevalent, and that's actually so simple, right? It doesn't need much explanation. Lying becomes prevalent. We see lying everywhere. Lying on the internet, lying on WhatsApp, videos, hoaxes, lies, commercials, lies everywhere. And the lies spread so quickly as well because of the internet. I mean, in seconds they'll reach around the world. But this is the part we really want from the hadith. And markets become interconnected. Markets become interconnected. It's really amazing and beautiful how the Prophet ﷺ mentioned this 1,400 years ago. Like nobody would have known that markets will be so connected. Meaning, if you look at Alibaba and eBay and Amazon, you've got everything basically under the sun in one place. You see, that's one way the markets are connected under one banner. For example, if you buy an automobile, if you buy a car, so now you dealt with the automobile industry, right? But in order for you to drive that car, you have to go to another industry, that's insurance, and then you have to go through the bank for the financing. So you see all these markets coming together. Then markets being interconnected, stock markets, for example, a powerful example of that. Or the dollar, rising, or if the dollar increases or decreases, it affects currencies around the world, it affects markets around the world. So all that shows you markets being connected together. And that's one of the signs before the hour. Not necessarily haram or bad or anything, but it's just amazing that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned something like this 1,400 years ago, and it is the reality and the norm of markets in our life today. Another one mentioned by An-Nasa'i rahimahullah, the Prophet ﷺ said, indeed from the signs of the hour is a person will want to buy something, but he will be told, not until I seek the permission of the businessman from such and such tribe. And a person will seek a scribe in a large area but will find none. Basically, this one is talking about how few people will control the markets. And there is such an amazing visual here. Even if you search, there is an image that has all the companies in America and their parent companies. And you'll see that almost every product, they just go back to 5 or 6 major companies that own everything. That's the same also for news channels, or TV stations. You'll see that in the end, there's just 4 or 5 that own all of them. Next one, narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, there will come upon the people a time when a person does not care about their wealth, whether it is from halal or haram. Their wealth. So a person will not care if their wealth is from halal or haram. Now, I'll give you an example. Look, this young man came to me in Canada, and he said, I have gas stations, but I am going to get rid of all of them. And he's a young man who's got a number of gas stations. It's good business, right? So I said, why are you going to do that? He said, because up to 70% is from tobacco, from selling tobacco products. 70% of his income comes from that. Those of you who know about gas stations, you don't really make much money from selling gas. Where they really make their money is from the convenience store inside, from selling all these other things. Of course, if you sell alcohol, that's where the majority of the money comes from. Right after that will be the tobacco, and then people buying sodas and wine and coffee and all that. But it's interesting how I knew someone else who was looking for a gas station, and then I told him what this guy said about 70% of his income being from tobacco, and he just kept looking. This didn't faze him at all. Like a lot of times you'll find people, they couldn't care less where their income is coming from, if it's halal or haram. They couldn't care less. Then another interesting one here, and we're just, like I said, we're just trying to cover as many of the minor signs as possible. And it's just, they're so interesting, aren't they, right? And it's so interesting that the Prophet ﷺ, who was in a completely different world, knew and described our world so perfectly, which is, again, an indicator a genuine Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Narrated by Tabarani, Anas ibn Malik narrates, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the days and nights will not stop. What does that mean? Same meaning. When will the days and nights stop? When the Day of Judgment comes. The days and nights will not stop until the most prosperous person in this world is Luka' ibn Luka'. Luka' ibn Luka'.
Luka' ibn Luka', which is an Arabic expression for somebody who has nothing, no origin, no nasab, no ird, nothing. He's just a low, Luka' ibn Luka'. That's what the Arabs say, Luka', like he's worthless. And this would be one of the signs of the end of time, when you have people uneducated, prancing about the earth. These rock stars, movie stars, the lowest type dregs of the society, prostitutes and these type of things. They become happy. They become the wealthy people. They become the ones, all these things. This is one of the signs of the end of time.
Al-Hakim rahimahullah mentions in the Mustadrak, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated, Prophet said, by the one in whose hand is my soul. So the Prophet is swearing by Allah. The hour will not be established until evil and stinginess are prevalent, and until the honest ones are thought treacherous, and the treacherous honest. If you need an explanation of that, for the most part, look to the Muslim lands and look at the leaders, and that's your explanation. Are the honest ones the ones in power, the ones that are thought to be treacherous, or the treacherous ones thought to be honest? Decision for yourself. Okay, this one is interesting here, narrated by Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu narrated, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, before the hour strikes and before the day of judgment comes, people will only give salam to their acquaintances. Taslim al-khassa. Taslim al-khassa. People give salam to those that they know specifically. Only specific people. Commerce will be plentiful to the extent that a woman will help her husband in his business. The ties of kinship, people will give false testimony, and truthful testimony will be hidden, and literacy will become widespread. Okay, so let's see. There are a number of things in this hadith. One, people will only give salam to those that they know, and this is so true right now. That was the first one. People only give salam to those that they know. The second one says, commerce will be plentiful to the extent that a woman will help her husband in his business. So An-Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam here is telling you that how the world will become, commerce will be so plentiful. So in the old days, I sold onions, let's say. I would sell onions, and when I make what I need for the day, or I sell the onions that I have, I go home and my wife is sitting at home. Even if she comes to work with me, there's nothing but to sell these onions. But the Prophet ﷺ is saying that commerce is going to be so plentiful in the future that I'm going to have to, instead of my wife staying home waiting for me, I'm going to need her to come to work and help me out. That's how much business and money there is. So it's not saying there's anything wrong with if your wife helps you out in your business. The ties of kinship will be severed. We understand what that means, and we've seen that. We see sometimes family members that don't speak to each other at all, some others who haven't spoken to each other for years, over whatever it is. But we've seen that, and relationships severed completely. People will give false testimony, and truthful testimony will be hidden, and literacy will become widespread, meaning a lot of people will know how to read. Now if you compare this one to the one before, to the one coming up now in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ, narrated by Anas ibn Malik, said, the hour will not be established, or he could have said, the narrator says, from the signs of the hour is that knowledge will be lifted, ignorance will become prevalent, alcohol will be consumed, adultery will be widespread, men will decrease and women will increase until there is a single man to 50 women. Yani each 50 women will have one qayyim, someone looking over their affairs. So we've got ignorance becoming prevalent, whereas the one before it, we had literacy becoming widespread. Literacy increasing and ignorance increasing. How is that possible? One explanation, we're talking about different time periods. So it could be that literacy increasing, that's one period of time, and then time progresses and then ignorance increases. That's one. Another explanation could be a lot of people know how to read, but we're talking about ignorance in the religion. If it's talking about ignorance in the religion, knowing how to read has nothing to do with it, which is very similar to what's happening today.